Hey everyone, this is Shopway48 here. Welcome back to another video, and of course, more intel, or more info on My Hero Academia chapter 375. This one is going to be a little bit more crazier than what happened in the last chapter, because now things are going to get much weirder than usual. So I don't know what's going on with this chapter, but we're going to find out eventually. But before I get started on this video, I want to let you, just brief reminder, if you guys are watching today's video, leave a like. And if you are new to the channel, if you are there watching, you're interested in this channel, if you want to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe and also turn on notification. Alright, with that being said, let's jump into the video.
This video is sponsored by Sakurako. Alright, so we got the 375 spoilers, and the big moment that we've been waiting for, at least one of the big moments that we've been waiting for. Something that has been foreshadowed before the war even started is finally happening in this chapter, and it's pretty exciting. But before we go over that, let me just quickly go over what had happened in the previous chapter. So we saw that Spinner was successfully able to reactivate Kurogiri by
he successfully freed him out. We know that for sure.
So of course, All For One had a contingency for this, as he always does, because he said that to help Kurogiri take immediate action, he planted a micro device in one of Shimura's hands, and this was able to activate Kurogiri, and he immediately activated his Warp Gate quirk and seemingly brought himself along with Present Mic to like where Aizawa, Monoma, and Manuel were inside of UA. But we're not touching on that group. We're touching on the other group actually, because he also transports Dabi and Toga to where All For One, Endeavor, and Hawks are. But we saw that Toga had become twice because it's implied that she ingested his
blood. That's Toga.
That brings us to the beginning of this
chapter,
where it's actually a flashback of Uraraka, Tsuyu, and the other heroes fighting Toga on Okoto Island. Deducing that Toga's hiding technique uses some kind of misdirection, they concluded that it would be difficult for her to use it against multiple people at once. That's why they are always attacking her in groups of at least 4 heroes. Meanwhile, Gang Orca realizes that the Nomu doesn't have a regeneration quirk and asks other heroes to attack the monster. Now they have defeated almost all the villains that were on the island. So yeah, we're coming back to the Toga.
Okay, so they're on island, huh?
We haven't been here for
That's strange.
a long time. We didn't get an update on what was happening here until the end of the previous chapter, where we saw, Toga showing up as twice. Now we're getting the connective tissue to that sequence. Hey, also guys, if you like my Hero coverage, please subscribe if you haven't already. We have at least 1 or 2 more spoilers and chapters coming out this month, so I go over them as soon as they come out, so if you're interested in that, subscribe. Thanks, guys. Toga realizes that her situation is bad and considers using Twice's blood, but she figures that with how little she has, she should only be able to make 30 to 40 clones. If she transforms now, the heroes will fight back, and the Sad Man's Parade will die on this island. So this is something that makes sense. We saw that she did have a little bit of Twice's blood, but she usually only has a little.
Why is she so interested in blood so much? I don't get her.
This also kind of conflicts with what's going
on
later on, but maybe it'll just make more sense once we get the full chapter, but I'll come back to it. She wonders if Makia will wake up. But even if he did, it would be difficult for him to get there. She wonders if the heroes knew about Jin's blood, and if that's why they sent her to an island. Seeing that there are no other options, she decides to believe in Spinner. So I like that she's bringing up Makia here, because I guess this means that he is...
So his name is Makia, okay.
We saw that, he's still being imprisoned, of course, coming off the previous war, but there's also a group of heroes. I think that's where Kirishima and Ashido are, which makes sense because he's set up to be like their final big bad opponent, right? But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Sakurako. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese snack subscription box. You'll receive 20 traditional and authentic artisan Japanese snacks.
That looks yummy and delicious.
And 1 special Japanese tableware with your box every month. Sakurako helps in partnering with local Japanese snack makers to continue to share Japanese culture and traditions that have been passed down for over 100 years. They also come with these great little booklets that give you information on all of the snacks and items in the box, along with information on Japan itself. This month,
I never actually tried Japan's food before.
A Japanese prefecture that is famous.
I'm interested in trying one.
Waterfalls.
I'd like to
invite you to try Tochigi's local delicacies like Tochigi Lemon Yokon and Tochigi's specialty sweet Strawberry Tiramisu biscuit. All snacks pair well with the special sencha tea. This month's kitchenware is furoshiki, a wrapping cloth. The technique began in 710 BC, but in the present day, furoshiki cloth can be used to wrap gifts, bento boxes, books, and even bottles.
Like a present.
That's fantastic. It's like really floral green tea. I'm going to try it with these Anko donuts that are filled with red bean paste. Wow, that's fantastic. Let's try these wasabi mayo.
He actually likes that stuff? I never actually tried it by myself, but
I wish I had.
I want to be interested in, tasting
it. So guys, if you're interested in getting your very own Sakurako box this holiday season, which makes an awesome gift for your family or friends, or even for yourself, check out the link in the description and make sure you use code ZONIN because you're going to get $5 off your very first box. And also, guys, you're going to get a chance to experience Japan in person because they're giving away a free ticket to Japan. Check the links below the video.
Yeah,
but we were wondering,
I didn't think Japan was so famous.
Part of the final war. And I guess he kind of has to.
Now I really want to go to Japan.
If he wasn't, and him being mentioned here by Toga means that he essentially is going to wake up because she's kind of reminding the audience as well that he's a thing. But another really cool thing is that what if she clones him using Twice's ability? And I'm not going to get my hopes up because that would just be too incredible, right?
Very too dangerous to use for a clone like that.
Get that crazy.
If she actually used a clone like Machia, she'd probably be unstoppable.
Just do all the craziness and make the ending really super fantastical. Why not? But I just don't expect him to do that. Although it would be really cool, but also at the same time, it would just be a little too powerful, right? Because just one Gigantomachia was enough to nearly take on everyone. I mean, he wasn't unstoppable. Like, they eventually were able to hold him down. But, just multiple of him would just be way too much. That's when she picks up the vial and looks like she's going to drink it. But Tsuyu is waiting for this moment. She figures it's all for one or Shigaraki's blood and destroys the vial with her tongue. But Toga was prepared for that because she knows Sue is a calculating person. That wasn't blood. It was a drug given to her by All for One. Of course it was.
A drug?
Attacks the high ends.
That's weird.
Then goes to attack Tsuyu because the drug is still on her tongue and it causes a big wave. Then Ochako goes to see what's happening and she finds two Tsuyus. So yeah, decoy vial with Nomu attractant, which, I don't know, maybe it would be simpler to put acid in there or something. That's besides the point. She successfully is protecting Jin's blood, of course. I mean, we already knew that she was going to activate it because we saw at the end of the previous chapter she becomes Twice. But also she's getting Tsuyu's blood in this sequence, I guess from the broken vial, because she's becoming her. One of them takes the vial out of her mouth and immediately turns into Twice and starts making clones. That's when Kurogiri appears and says that he has been given a mission to save Shigaraki and the others. He asks what Toga wants to do, and she says that she wants to eliminate all the heroes, starting with Hawks. Uraraka tries to enter the portal, but the Twice clones rip her wire apart. She then says that they haven't been able to talk about love like Toga wanted. It's funny, like Uraraka at the last second trying to.
She's always interested in love. Give it a break.
I actually do want to talk about love. Let's do that. Remember you wanted to do that? Let's not fight anymore. Let's just talk about love. Toga seems to hesitate, but responds with how great it would be if we could. Cut to Gunga. Hawks immediately understands that this is Toga's doing. Dabi burns the forest down, and Toga starts the Sad Man's Parade, making hundreds of clones. So yeah, this is the big moment. It's finally happening. The new Sad Man's Parade. Like I said, this was foreshadowed before the war even started. But this is also interesting because it goes back to what I said was being mentioned in the beginning of the chapter. How she only has enough of Twice's blood to make 30 or 40 clones. So did she mean like at base?
Good thing she can't make like 100 or 80.
They would have to do the Sandman's Parade and then they could potentially be defeated before that would happen, but it's almost kind of instantaneous when it happens. So I'm just confused by that statement and her just eventually making hundreds of clones anyway. But it doesn't really matter. It's happening here and it's necessary because we need this to happen. We need all of this chaos and essentially more bodies for people to fight against too, right? And I also like that Dabi's just burning down the forest, just making clear battlefield.
That man has to die. He is creepy.
That all seems lost, but then we see that Tsuyu managed to launch Uraraka with her tongue in time, and she passed through the portal. Now Dabi, Endeavor, Uraraka, All for One, Toga/Twice, and Hawks are in the same place. End of chapter. The final panel is actually a flashback from the previous chapter, with the weather reporter Meryl talking about the butterfly effect. It is meant to imply that this is the culmination of several consequences of previous events. Yeah, we're going into this final battle, or at least this is building up to be a true final battle, because now we're getting more pieces on the board together, which we kind of assumed was eventually going to happen. Spread them all apart for them to all eventually come back together. And now we have, Endeavor, Uraraka, Uraraka and Hawks taking on Toga, who is twice, All for One, and Dabi, which is a very lopsided battle here. Like, the villain side is way more powerful than the heroes here, but something is eventually going to happen. Let me know what you thought about these spoilers in the comments, guys.
Wow. I told you it was going to be strange and, weird today, but that's just crazy. So we got Uraraka, Endeavor, who's pretty much beat up, and Hawks, which is out of feathers, and of course All for One, Toga / Twice, because she has his twice blood, and Dabi. And yeah, I said Hawks. So I don't know if Uraraka will be useful in this battle, because she can only use her power by touching people, and if she tries to release it, she'll end up going sick. So she's going to have to properly use her power wisely, or try to do some martial arts on one of these villains, because they have some very powerful, power that they have, and then she has to be careful not to avoid getting killed, because we don't want Uraraka getting damaged or getting hurt or getting killed in this battle, because they're probably gonna have to hold off until the other heroes arrive, or maybe Deku might arrive. Who knows what's gonna happen? I don't know. I'm just saying for my expression right now. So yeah. So that's it for today's chapter, guys, and that is it for today's video. I'll see you guys later tomorrow. In the meantime, stay tuned for more. This is Shotway48. Peace out.